A very warm welcome to another edition of the Magpie Circle podcast. And today we're going to turn the spotlight on the Sam Allardyce era for the very first time in this series of podcasts. And we're also going to go into the lion's den of an actual current manager's office. A very warm welcome to Alex Dyer up in Kilmarnock. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you for having us, Paul. Cheers.
Delight to have you, Alex. Delight to have you. The Allardyce era, you were there for 3 years, is clearly one of the high spots of Notts County's recent history and times. And you were an integral part over the seasons of that. And I think it's fair to say you showed there's a great sense of timing to be joining Notts in March of that season, wasn't it? How did it come about?
Well, I was at Huddersfield and weren't playing regular, so I had the opportunity to come to Notts. He was looking for a left back. And he watched us a few times and said, do you want to come and join us and finish the season? Obviously, Notts was top of the league at the time. And I said, yeah, come down and finish the season there. And it was a great, I think it was 11, 12 games. And we won the league and it was a great time.
Just about every modern record was broken in that season. Record points all 99, 10 successive wins, 15 away wins, 7 away wins in a row, longest post-war unbeaten run, 16 games, fewest defeats in a season, 5. You've been in the game a long time. Seasons like that don't come along very often, do they?
No, very rare. I was very lucky, fortunate to come along and be part of it. You know, from the day I walked into the changing room, everyone was upbeat. You know, I think my first game was against Exeter. I think it was away, poured down with rain. And I think we won that game. I'm not sure whether it was something like 5-3, 5-2 or something. But it was a great night. And I knew when I walked in that I came to something a bit special. He was a good manager, obviously. He's gone on to prove that. But at the time, he was very clear in what he wanted to do. You know, he controlled the old football club. He was, obviously, you know, Sam, he's a big, strong presence about him and everyone looked up to him. And he like I said, he was clear in his message when we went out on the pitch. And everyone knew their jobs, everyone knew what they were doing. And we just saw it through to the end.
What was it like in the dressing room itself? You know, there were some strong characters in there. The captain was Ian Hendon. You had Gary Strodder at centre half. What did everyone gel together really well?
Everyone was, you know, Andy Hughes came to the club at the same time as I came in. They were brilliant bunch of footballers. Like I said, I was very lucky and fortunate to play with some of them lads. Ian Richardson, they were good, honest bunch, worked hard. Mark Robson, I think, was there at the time as well. So yeah, it was a good time. You know, and everyone just wanted to win games. You know, it's the most important thing. You know, you get a feel for it. The momentum was strong, and everyone just wanted to win games, and everyone trained hard. And you know, yeah, there was a buzz about the place that, you know, we felt that we'd never lose. And then that's the way it went on to the end of the season.
I remember talking with Ian Barraclough when I did a book a couple of years ago. And it was kind of the dawn of sports science in the lower divisions, wasn't it? And I think one of Sam's big ones was it the use of creatine and those sorts of things? Was that something you'd come across at the time or not? Or was that quite new?
We all knew about it. Some took it, some didn't. You know, I wasn't one for taking it at the time. I just wanted to come in there and just play football. I was fit and strong, so didn't really need creatine. But Sam was up on his sports science and his training and having sports science, you know, at the forefront of his training, and everyone came along with it.
Because you kept in touch. I was going to ask you. Obviously, you've moved into management yourself with Kilmarnock. I mean, have you taken a lot of those lessons, or what did you learn from Sam as a manager while you were a player?
I mean, when I was doing my pro license, I went to speak to him and have a good chat with him. And he always said to me, look, if your players are not with you, you have to get them out. You know, it was simple as that. You know, he says, you know, look after your changing room, make sure when you're the boss that, you know, live and die by what you believe in, you know. And he was big on that. You know, he would always say, look, if it was a
don't you? Clarity of leadership, clarity of thought, clarity of what your job is on the pitch. Go out and do it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, you don't have to complicate anything. You just give people simple instructions, and hopefully they take it on board. And 9 out of 10 times it works, you know. And if it doesn't, it's not because they haven't tried, because maybe the opposition's better than your team, and that's just the way it is. But you know, for Sam, he was like I said, he was clear in his message. You know, whatever he told us to do, we done because we believed in him. You know, we believed that what he said was right, and then we wanted to carry that out. We wanted to please him.
Promotion, championship, 99 points. Everything Sam does, he does it proper and he does it hard, doesn't it? So I imagine there was some quite good celebrating going on as well, yeah?
Yeah, there were some great times. Like I said, we went away that year. I think we went to Thailand. We had some great times, you know, but we did it at the right times, by the way. You know what I mean? Even the nights out we had.
Oh, we're back. Both of the pictures froze.
Okay.
I guess Sam is full on in everything that he does. You would never take liberties with him, I would imagine.
No, because he'd probably give you a right-hander. Simple as that. Back in the day, he could probably get away with it. You couldn't do it now. But he managed he was fair. I always say he was fair, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? And if he was wrong with anything, he would say he was wrong. You know, but he was fair, and we loved playing for him. You know what I mean? Everyone enjoyed it, even the ones who weren't in the team. You know, we knew it was a squad effort, and everyone was pulling in that one direction. And you know, it was, like I said, it was good time and good to be there.
You were kind of Mr. Versatile. I mean, you played in all sorts of different positions while you were there, didn't you?
Yeah, I played out wide, wing backs, full back, centre half, sweeper. You know, so it was nice. It was good. I enjoyed it. You know, I was honest, just an honest footballer who just wanted to play games and enjoyed what I do. You know, I enjoyed training. I enjoyed being with the lads. And so if anyone said to me, go and play, I'd go and play whatever position he said. Whether it was him, Gary Brazil took over after Jockey Scott. They were all, I'd play for any one of them and do the best I could.
In the context of your overall playing football career, how do you look back on your time at Notts?
Fond memories, of course. I enjoyed all the clubs I played for, and I played for a few as well. And I enjoyed them all. You know, it was nice to win promotion. Yeah, I won promotion at Blackpool as well. I won promotion at Palace. So it was good moments, and I enjoyed all of them. Notts, I learned a lot because I think I was like 31, 32, that sort of age, and you know, it was a time in my career where I started thinking a little bit about, you know, not say coaching, but I always thought about other stuff, and I could probably take information in better when I got older, you know. And having Sam there, who was nice, was bright, and he was clear in his messages, it pushed me in a direction where I wanted to go.
You're good friends with Chris Powell. And I think I was reading in an excellent book that you helped contribute to, Record Breakers, by a friend of mine, Paul Smith. He actually says you are a top guy because when he wanted to interview you, you met up in a coffee shop, I think it was in Croydon, and he said you insisted on paying for the coffees.
Cheers. Yeah, he was all right. He was a nice man. He came down and wanted to interview us. You know, we had a good conversation about times at Notts County. It's a good book, by the way. He sent us a couple of copies of the book.
I had to pay for mine. Hey, well done. So you should get a free copy, by the way.
Copies then. But it was good. He was good. It was nice interview, and it's a nice conversation. We just spoke about old times. And it was nice. It was nice to be part of a record-breaking season and be part of a good book.
I was reading in the book with excerpts from your interview. So that did you end up living in Chris Powell, lodging in Chris Powell's home in the East Midlands? Yeah,
100%. He moved to. He was at Derby, and at the time he moved back to Charlton, I think it was. So the house was empty, and he said, "You want to come stay in the house?" So it's a big house. I went, why not? Instead of me like renting somewhere and being in dig somewhere, I just went, yeah, why not? And looked after his house for him. It was nice, really nice.
Very good. It's important, isn't it? It's more difficult these days because players are on shorter term contracts. But if you can get players to live in the local area and community, it can help foster a better team spirit. So players are going out and about in the downtime rather than just seeing each other for 2 hours on a morning in training.
Yeah, of course, it does help. When I was a kid at Watford doing my apprenticeship, that was important with Graham Taylor as well. Everyone had to live sort of like a couple of miles from the ground. So, and he wanted everyone close by, just to build that team spirit. And whether it with your wives and your girlfriends, anytime there was a function, they could all come, and Notts County was a bit like that. He wanted people quite close. But the most important thing was winning matches. And like we always say, whatever you do is winning matches on a Saturday afternoon. And that breeds team spirit in itself.
It's interesting you mentioned winners. So you had you were saying earlier, 3 promotions on your CV. Or at 3 clubs you had promotions on your CV. Important, of course, footballers have to win, but some footballers collect championships and titles, others perhaps struggle sometimes. Is that part of a player's mentality or just potluck as to when you're involved in clubs at the right time?
I mean, every club you go to, you want to win matches. You just want to go there and do the best you can. And then sometimes you're lucky enough and fortunate enough to be at a club who are challenging for a promotion or for titles. And if you're lucky enough to be there, you ride along with it. And sometimes you're at clubs where you have to stay in the division, and that's just a big thing as it is. Sometimes just staying in the division is a big thing. So I mean, like I said, I was fortunate to be at 2 or 3 clubs where we was fighting at the other end and we were trying to get promotion. I've been down the other end as well. Oxford United, I struggled and went down 1 year. So even was at Blackpool 1 year, struggled 1 year. Huddersfield Town struggled. But you just learn. You have to adapt, and you do your best on a Saturday to win games, and sometimes you can, and sometimes that this season is going to be a season where you have to dig in deep and fight and try and stay in the league, and sometimes you're fortunate enough to be up the other end and you're fighting promotion, and they're the best times, when you can win things and everyone's happy at a football club, because it's not just about the players, it's about the people who work behind the scenes. When you get relegated, people lose their jobs. So it's not just about winning promotion. The footballers have to understand that they're also fighting for other people's living, because if you don't win games, other people around you suffer.
I'm often reminded of a comment in a conversation with one of my good friends in football, Martin O'Neill. Forest. I was with him at Leicester for many years, and he would say that football, Paul, is about 2 groups of fans: players and fans. Everything else falls into place depending on if the players are doing their job at a football club.
Yeah, that's correct. And the first team 11 or first team squad is the most important part of that football club. You know what I mean? It's no one else. It's not the youth team. It's not. It's just about. It is about the 11 or the squad that goes out on a Saturday and play. It's about that first team squad, nothing else. Because everything people rely on them. You know, if they're doing their job well, and everything else flows behind it. If they don't work and if they're not winning games, then I mean nothing works. The wheel don't turn and people suffer.
Certainly at Notts County recently, everyone has seen the consequences of when the wheels completely stop turning.
Yeah,
So, championship season, stormed the division. I guess when you win a title in that manner, there will always be an expectation that you can then take the next step immediately. Didn't quite turn out that way in that first season after promotion. What did you put that down to?
Going to another league, you know, whether, you know, the momentum stopped. You know, we didn't, maybe the players that we had weren't as good as what we thought we were going into the next division. We still tried and do the right things and the things that got us there, but you know, you're playing against better players. You know, and these players in the higher division have a winning mentality as well, and they know that we came up, and you know, they know there was going to be in for a hard game, and like I said, it's just different levels, you know, and that's why when teams go up, they usually strengthen, and they usually buy players who can adapt to the next level or to the next division. And you know, we struggled a little bit that year. I can't remember when Sam, did he leave that year?
No, Sam went the following year after that, because it was kind of a learning curve, if you like, in that season after promotion.
Yeah.
Then the following season, all the ducks were in a row, and the club was doing extremely well at the start of the season, very well placed. But then in came Bolton. That's
right. And then he left. He took us all out for a night.
I was going to ask you about this.
Yeah, I can remember it. We all went out. He said he's going to take all the lads out. So went to a nightclub in, I can't remember whether it was a Tuesday or Wednesday night. We went out. And we trained hard that day. I remember we had a hard day, and he says, everybody's out. And we all had to go. It wasn't like, it wasn't one where he says, you know, if you want to come out with us, it was everyone has to be there. So we all went out. We all had a great night. And then time we all came home, we had a phone call to say, get yourself down to the ground. And I think he had put his resignation under the chairman's door. And we all sat there, and everyone was telling him that he left. And that was it. Sam was gone.
I spoke to him, Barraclough, and a few of the others. You were out that night.
Yes.
Did you have any inkling that Sam was going to go?
No one knew. No one knew. I can remember the night like it was yesterday. You know, we all stood and we were drinking. It was a great time. And time the club shut, it must have been 2-3 o'clock, and then time he must have got home. He went straight. He must have went straight to the ground and packed his bags and shot off. No word of a lie. Yeah, packed his bag and went. You know, and that was it. That was it. He was gone.
Ian Barraclough bears exactly what you've just said there. Because he said he stopped over. I forget who he said he'd stayed over with. And I think he had to come into training a little bit later the following day, like lunchtime or something like that.
Yeah, we had a phone call to say, come down to the ground. And we were like, what for? And all it was like, the gaffers left. You know?
And what, so you were all gathering at Meadow Lane. So what's the collective thoughts of the players at that time?
Going on. Everyone was in shock because no one knew. Everyone understand as a footballer and as a, you know, when you're in that industry, you understand that these things will happen. He was a good manager. He wanted to go to the next level. He was offered a good contract at Bolton. He were trying to go places. So it was a no-brainer on his point. His stance, it was a no-brainer for him to go, even though Notts County was a good football club. It was Bolton who were up and coming up and flying, and he wanted to be a part of something you know, that could, you know, the backing they were going to give him, he could take them to the next level, and he did do that.
Notts County was very much the launch pad for Sam's, you know, let's be honest, a very, very illustrious career that ended up managing your country. It doesn't get much better than that, does it?
No.
When I think it's fair to say that at that time, the Notts chairman was Derek Pavis, sadly passed away 18 months, 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And Derek was kind of an archetypal football chairman. You know, he has the hat, big cigar, sheepskin coat. It's kind of a caricature of that period of a football chairman. And clearly he did very well for Notts County. You know, he built the stadium and everything. But I think it's fair to say it was kind of an up and down relationship that he enjoed with Sam. Is that something the players were aware of or not? Or were you?
Not really. No, we didn't. Was no part of that. I didn't know about that. I just knew that. You know what I mean? At the time, if he wanted something, he would get it. You know, the gaffer would get it because we were doing well. I mean, everybody wants to go to the next level. So, you know, I don't know whether he had a conversation with the chairman before and the chairman said, no, you can't go. And then all of a sudden he's saying, well, I want to go. I'm going to hand it in. You know what I mean? And move on. Because it works both ways. If he wasn't doing well, then chairman could easily say, well, I want you out the door. You know, and the other, you know, the shoe was on the other foot where he was doing well and he had the opportunity to go somewhere. And then, you know, you take it. And that's just football and that's life in general. If you've got opportunity to better yourself, try and take it.
In terms of contract discussions, obviously agents were coming into the game then. Did you do your own discussions or did you have a representative? And did they, because Derek, many players tell me stories that Derek Pavis, the chairman, could be an absolute nightmare when it came to playing contracts.
Yeah, I did my own. I was like, you know what I mean? I knew what I wanted. Do you know what I mean? All I knew was, look, I wanted to come and play football. Give me a decent wage, which I know what the wage was at the time, and I know what they could pay, and some accommodation at the time, you know, hotels till I got myself sorted out, and that was it. You know, what else do you need? You just want to play football. You don't need nothing else, nothing more than that.
So Sam's moved on. I think it was Gary Brazil came in. Yeah, actually continued to have a decent season, finished about 8th or 9th. So it was still a decent season. You coped well in the short term with the loss of Sam.
Yeah, we did. Gary just came and just carried on with his. He was at the club anyway. He came in and just carried it on as normal, you know, and we played some good stuff. We finished the season well. And it was all right. I enjoyed it. Gary was all right. He treated me well. He's a good man. And it was good times still. You know, it was a joy to play. Still playing football. And like I said, nothing really changed. Just carried on and doing what we had to do.
In your second full season at the club, I think you got Player of the Year, didn't you? Was that under Jockey Scott?
I think it was under Gary Brazil, I think.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. It was
under Gary Brazil.
Yeah,
and then he got moved to the side, and then Jockey came in. You know, Jockey's a different character, Jockey, but yeah, good man. Different. Yeah, but he was all right. He knew his football. He was stern. He didn't smile much, Jockey. But he was all right. I liked working under him. He was good.
All good things come to an end. And I think in the end, your contract was terminated midway through a season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was in November I left, something like that. You know what I mean? I played one game. I remember not playing great, centre half, and then I think Jockey must have went, that's enough. And then I was like, see you later. and that was near enough. It was so quick as well. Like, you know, it was, you know, he asked me what I wanted to do. And I just said, look, man, if you're not really going to play me or if you don't really want me around, then, you know, we part ways. And that was it after 2-3 days from the Saturday to maybe to the Tuesday or Wednesday, that was it. It was over, you know.
Give us a little bit of an insight into some of the players that you were with during, particularly the championship and the immediate season afterwards. I think we mentioned it. Some very strong characters. Ian Hendon, I think, was the captain. Sean Farrell was a bit of a joker in the pack, wasn't he?
Yeah, Faz was a good lad. Faz, he was a good striker. He was rough and ready. He was funny in training. Good character. We had good characters in that changing room.
I think one of the phrases to use to describe Gary Strodder as a centre-half will be uncompromising. Sam clearly was a centre-half in his Bolton days. You won't remember them, I do. But there was a strong spine, and defensively, Notts were set up very well under Sam, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, Strods was brilliant because I never really played centre-half, and then all of a sudden Sam said to me, just go and play centre-half. And it was alongside Strods, and he was brilliant. You know what I mean? He just said, look, if you don't want to head it, I'll head them all. And you could sweep round and pick all the loose balls up, and then that's the way it was. And I remember cracking my head on one of the games and having stitches, and he just went, welcome to the club, because he says all centre-halves should get stitches in their head. And that was just the way it was. But he was good to play with. But I knew of him through West Ham, because obviously I'm a West Ham supporter. So I knew Strods and I knew about him. So it was a joy to play with him. He was a good lad, really good lad.
Gary Jones had an unbelievable season. Top goal scorer. All the stars aligned for him at Notts, didn't they?
Yeah, he was brilliant. He was a good striker, like I said, right, left foot. He could score goals, heads, anything. He was lively in the box. Could run the channels. Surprised he never really went on and on. One kind of mesmerised me a little bit that he didn't go on and really take it by storm, because he was really a really good striker. Really good striker.
So your time at Notts comes to an end, and you'd mentioned earlier you'd already started to think towards the end of your career about coaching and management, yeah? And you went about it the right way, you got your badges. Presumably, it's been quite a hard route to get now to the manager's office that you're sat in at Kilmarnock.
Hard. Look, when I left Notts and retired, I went off and done some fitness stuff. Started to become a personal trainer for a while, worked in the gym. Still doing some coaching at Reading Football Club, doing the youth team, under sort of like under 10s, under 11s, and just plying the trade. So it was full on. And then I got the opportunity. I was working in a school, and then I got a call if I wanted to come to West Ham and do some fitness work, which I did with the youth team there under Tony Carr. Alan Pardew was manager, and then started doing my badges there. And then I always wanted to coach, but it was a good way for me to get in the door to do the fitness work. And then after that, I had the opportunity to coach the reserve team after I started doing my B license and that. And then I stayed and done West Ham reserves for like 2-3 seasons. Then I had the opportunity to go to Charlton with Chris Powell and be his number 2, and I did that. Got promotion with Charlton, and then the following season in the championship, we lost our jobs. We had a change of owners, so we both lost our jobs, and then we managed, and Chris got the job at Huddersfield, and I was assistant manager to him at Huddersfield, and we was there for about 15 months. Studied that ship. I say that was the best we done, because they were always up and down, and the chairman wanted us to come in there and steady the ship. We thought we could have stayed longer, obviously, like you do, but it wasn't to be. And then we lost our jobs, and in the end, Steve Clarke said to me, you know, if he gets an opportunity to manage again, he would take us. And to his word, he rang us up one day. Again, I was back in a school working in a special needs school, and I was doing some work in there, and I got the call. He said, "You want to come up to Scotland, Kilmarnock?" And I jumped at the chance. And to be fair, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made, because I've spent 2 years, first of all, here under him, and we've done so well. You know, the club kept on climbing and climbing, met some good people. You know, I can say that there's 2 in the room right now as I'm here.
Go on.
One is Billy Thompson, who is like the goalie coach, played for Rangers. And the other one is Andy Millen, who's now my assistant. And 2 great people. And I've been lucky to be manager now. And I've got them to watch my back for me. So, which is nice.
You always need a good team. I remember at Leicester with Martin, John Robertson. Yeah, well, in every respect, but off the pitch as well, because the huge amount of pressures and strains. Because as manager, you're the focal point for any football club, wherever you are. You feel everything, don't you? Everyone's looking at you, watching you, seeing what you're doing, how you're reacting, what you're saying after the game, press conferences, fans, players. And I've seen it. You know, it can be quite a lonely place, and you need people around you who you can trust.
100%, and that's why them 2 are sitting there in this room, because I do trust them. And it is true, because you do need them. You do need people. You think you can do it all on your own, but you can't. You need help every step of the way. And like I said, I've been lucky enough to have good people. Like I said, when I first come here, Steve Clarke was brilliant for me. You know, I learned a lot in the last 2-3 seasons. Obviously, now he's gone off to Scotland and is manager of Scotland, which was a good thing, because I was along with him. I did that job for a little while, but now obviously Kilmarnock is full time. You don't get no time to rest, so I had to step back from there, and I can concentrate on giving this my best shot. So. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm privileged. I feel blessed that I can. That I'm manager of a football club. It's been a journey, but it's been a good journey. It's been a good journey, and it's one where, you know, if you work hard and you get the right breaks, you get a chance in life. You know.
I'd ask you this, because it is mentioned in the book. Clearly, you've been very diligent, very hardworking. From speaking to people, you have a very, very good reputation in the game. You mentioned in the book that you'd taken a little look at the Notts County job, which, to be honest, over the last decade must have come up about 26 times. Did you take anything further, or just sound 1 or 2 people out?
I sound a couple of people out at times, and I mean, it weren't to be. So I kind of like just, you know, I always like have a little look and see where it, you know what I mean, I get a couple of feelers out and see how it goes. And if I get a good word that it could happen, then, you know, at the time I would have tried and take it on board. But, you know, I mean, nothing was coming of it. So, you know, get my head down and move on.
And if you're not comfortable with this question, please don't feel the need to answer it. Darren Moore is one of my very good friends. He's up at Doncaster, known Darren for 20 years. Is it harder for black coaches and managers to get these jobs, or not, do you think? I don't want to be controversial, but I just want to understand from your perspective.
It's a hard question, because it probably is. Historically, it is. We know that. I mean, because if you wouldn't be answering the question otherwise.
Yeah, and numerically, the numbers are there, aren't they?
You know, they don't lie. You know, my take on it is like everything else. You know, if you work hard, you know, you put your head down and work hard. You try your best, and if someone don't want to give you a job, I can't make them give me a job. You know what I mean? That's just like whether you're black, white, green, or blue. You know, if someone don't want to give you a job, they don't want to give you a job. I understand that in life, that what's going on in the world, you know, you see the stuff on the television, you know that it's not right, what's gone on in the past, and will continue probably to go on in the future. But you know, for me personally, I just have to say, look, I want people to look at me and say, you know what I mean, that it can be done. You know, there's good people in this world who will give people a chance in life. And that's what you want. You know, I know people talk about this Rooney rule and, you know, no one wants anything given to them. You know, they want to know that they got a chance if they do the work and they sit in front of someone and someone says, yeah, you're all right. You're decent. You know, you got a chance at the job. You know, the Rooney rule will bring that in because it will probably go, well, you know, it gives everyone a chance to step in the office. But we don't want to be there just to make up the numbers. And that's the important thing. You're not there to make up numbers. You want to be given a chance because you've earned it, and because someone says he can do the job and he's qualified to do the job. And that's what you want in life. You just want someone to give you a fair shot. Doesn't matter what colour or race you're from. And that's just my take on it.
Very good answer. Alex, I'm sure you've got a team meeting now to sort out with your coaches. Thank you very, very much indeed for your time. All the very best for the forthcoming season with Kilmarnock. The two clubs historically do have a link. One of Notts County's all-time greatest players post-war is a guy called Ian McCulloch.
Yeah,
played for Notts in the top division, and he made over 100 appearances for Kilmarnock, born and bred Killy. And he's settled in Nottingham. So there is
connection.
There is a link, and we also had a young lad on loan that's kind of done rather well for Celtic and Scotland. Callum McGregor. He started out at Notts. It was first time he had some appearances together with Jack Grealish. So we had Jack Grealish and Callum McGregor in the same team when Sean Derry was manager, both on loan from Celtic and from Villa. Excellent.
So, well, it's a good club, isn't it? You know that. It's one of the oldest club, if not the oldest club in the Football League. So it was a pleasure for me to play for him. I'm glad I'm part of that history a little bit. And I can't wait for Notts to get back in the Football League.
On that note, Alex, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us, Paul. Brilliant.